Earth is a planet of infinite mysteries, with countless questions still unanswered. When did it truly take form? How many civilizations have flourished and vanished into obscurity? While time has buried much of the past, archaeology continues to uncover amazing finds that reshape our knowledge of history. From long-lost cities to puzzling artifacts, each find uncovers new secrets and sparks bigger questions. In this video, we'll look at some of the most mysterious ancient archaeological discoveries that no scientists, archaeologists, or historians can explain. Number 15. Alligator Effigy Mound. The Alligator Effigy Mound stands in Granville, Ohio. Archaeologists believe it was constructed by the Fort Ancient civilization between 800 and 1200 CE. Since it wasn't used for burials, it's widely assumed to have had a ceremonial purpose. Alligator Mound, along with Serpent Mound in Adams County, is one of only 2 surviving effigy mounds in modern-day Ohio. It's been listed on the National Register of Historic Places since 1971. Effigy mounds are more common in what are now Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin, and many remain intact in those regions. Way back in 1999, archaeologists Brad Lepper and Todd A. Froking conducted a full study of the mound. Radiocarbon dating of a charcoal fragment found at its base suggests the mound dates to around 950 CE. Interestingly, Lepper believes it doesn't depict an alligator at all, but rather an underwater panther, which is a powerful figure in Native American mythos. Early European settlers likely misunderstood indigenous descriptions and assumed it was a reptilian beast. Number 14. Kuap Fortress. This fortress in Peru holds the title for the oldest stone ruins in the Americas. Now, there is just a little issue with it, and that is, we're still not entirely sure who built it. Most scholars credit the Chachapoya, often referred to as the Cloud people, who lived in the region around the 6th century. They were known for constructing settlements on steep, remote cliffs. What makes Kuap especially fascinating is the sheer scale. The stones used here dwarf those of the Great Pyramid of Giza, some of them being 10 times larger. And this was built on a mountainside, not flat land. How these ancient builders hauled such massive stones remains unclear. More than 400 structures were built within its walls over the span of 1,000 years, until the site was abandoned after the Spanish conquest. The Chachapoya had no written records, so we don't know why they went to such lengths. But what they left behind is a marvel. Just look at it. Number 13. World's oldest pixel pictures. Back in 2017, a remarkable find was made in a small French village, the oldest known images made using pixels. They date back over 38,000 years. These prehistoric artworks were painted onto 16 limestone blocks using tiny, deliberate dots to form larger images. Today, we call this technique pointillism, and often credit 19th century artists like Seurat or Van Gogh. But clearly they were unknowingly echoing a method from deep prehistory. These images, mostly of aurochs, mammoths, and horses, are believed to be the work of the Aurignacian people, the oldest human culture to reach Europe. Based on the evidence, researchers believe they may have used their palms to dab the paint, creating the dotted patterns by slapping their hands against the stone. Why they chose this approach instead of painting directly is a mystery. Still, the artistic detail and planning involved are stunning. These weren't random marks. They were the work of a highly creative culture, expressing ideas long before written language existed. Number 12. The Maidum Pyramid Discovery. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the most renowned ancient monument on Earth, but it's far from Egypt's only pyramid. Some pyramids are more prominent than others, though. Take the Maidum Pyramid, for instance. There's a strong possibility that many people have never heard of this 4,600-year-old partially collapsed structure. But recently, archaeologists have discovered the skeleton of a girl who was around 13 years of age when she died. She was buried in what archaeologists described as a squatting position inside a tomb at the pyramid's base. No other remains have ever been found inside or near the Maidum pyramid, which experts believe may have been constructed for Pharaoh Sneferu over 4,500 years ago. If that's true, who was this little girl? Could she have been his daughter? If so, why weren't there any grave goods or inscriptions to identify her? The discovery is captivating precisely because it feels so out of place, and her identity has remained a mystery ever since. What do you think about it? Number 11. The Kuhard Pyramid. European archaeologists know the French city of Autumn well, mainly for its sprawling necropolis called the Champ des Urnes, which contains an enigmatic stone tower standing over 110 feet tall. Known as the Kuhard Pyramid, its origin remains uncertain despite surviving nearly 2 millennia. Earlier theories suggested that Emperor Vespasian built it in the 1st century as a memorial for Roman soldiers, but modern specialists challenge this. The pyramid's surface is covered in Druidic carvings, which predate Rome's presence in Gaul. The necropolis around it may be Roman, but the structure itself appears older, reused rather than built by them. In 1640, frustrated by the mystery, the Abbé de Castile ordered a hole cut into the side, hoping to reveal its secrets. Nothing was found. Centuries later, the pyramid's function, builders, and purpose remain unexplained, standing as a silent reminder that even massive things can be forgotten. Number 10. Crellis' altarpiece and the UFO theory. Carlo Crellis' altarpiece. The Annunciation with Saint Emitius depicts a stylized version of the biblical Annunciation, painted for the Church of Saints Annunziata in Ascoli, Piceno, Italy. It was commissioned to commemorate Pope Sixtus IV, granting the town self-governance in 1482. The artwork was later transported to Milan in 1811, then sold to Auguste Louis de Sivry, and eventually made its way to England. It's been displayed in the National Gallery in London since 1864, thanks to Henry Labouchere, 1st Baron Taunton. Some conspiracy theorists claim that the halo of the Holy Spirit in the painting is a depiction of a UFO. But historian Massimo Polidoro dismisses that as nonsense. He explains it's simply a cloud of angels, a standard representation of divine presence in Renaissance religious art. Artists of that period used carefully chosen symbols, not random imagery. Polidoro says reinterpreting historical works through a modern lens, especially with ideas like ancient aliens, misses the original sacred meaning entirely. Number 9. The gruesome carvings of Cerro Sechin. Cerro Sechin is an archaeological site in the Casma province of the Ancash region in northern Peru. No one knows who built it or what its purpose was, but we do know something about the culture that once lived there, and it's unsettling. The site is covered in over 400 carvings of mutilated human bodies, warriors skewering enemies, and graphic depictions of brutal combat. These weren't just symbolic. The violence is extremely detailed, showing deep familiarity with human anatomy. Testing at the site suggests it was established around 4,000 years ago and used for 500 years. It's believed to have served both administrative and ceremonial roles, though no one can say what kind of ceremony involved such horrifying imagery. These carvings circle the entire site, each more gruesome than the last. Whether they were intended as warnings, religious depictions, or historical records remains unclear, but one thing is certain. Whoever lived here wanted to leave behind a very vivid message, and it wasn't peaceful. Number 8. The lion figurine of Vogelherd Cave. In Germany's Vogelherd Cave, archaeologists recovered fragments of a remarkable figurine across 2 discoveries separated by decades. The body was unearthed in 1931, but the head was not found until 2013. For years, scholars believed the headless form depicted a rhinoceros or bear. Once reassembled, however, the carving revealed itself as a lion, carefully shaped from mammoth ivory around 40,000 years ago. Vogelherd Cave has produced countless artifacts from early Upper Paleolithic culture, yet this figurine stands out for both artistry and age. Its existence challenges modern assumptions of prehistoric life as crude survival. The precision of the carving shows creativity and symbolic thought that mirror our own capacities. At a time when humans hunted with simple tools and fought for survival, they were also producing art of lasting beauty. This beautiful lion figurine forces us to reconsider the sophistication of our ancestors. Number 7. Mushroom stones of Guatemala. For more than a century, archaeologists have found mushroom-shaped stones in Guatemala, with further discoveries surfacing in Mexico. Their meaning has sparked decades of debate. Some scholars believe they honor psychoactive mushrooms, used by shamans to induce visions. Others suggest their shapes are intentionally phallic, linking them to fertility rituals. Both theories may hold true. Hallucinogenic fungi played a central role in the spiritual traditions of many ancient Central and South American cultures, often serving as a bridge to altered states. The Aztecs even referred to psilocybin mushrooms as Teonanacatl, meaning the flesh of the gods. Other groups, including the Mazatec, Zapotec, Mixtec, and Maya, also integrated them into their practices. Whether interpreted as sacred symbols of vision quests or markers of fertility, the stones echo the centrality of mushrooms in these societies. Their carved forms are strange by modern standards, yet they represent traditions deeply rooted in belief, ritual, and life. Number 6. The marked Arox. Bone archaeologists back in 2021 found a fragment of Arox bone on the slopes of the Judean hills, bearing 6 incised lines that may represent the earliest evidence of symbolic expression in the Levant. The bone, about 120,000 years old, came from an aurochs, which is a now extinct species once hunted by Paleolithic groups. The marks, carved in a single session with a flint tool, follow a curious sequence of 3, then 2, then 1. Some suggest they were idle doodles, the prehistoric equivalent of passing time, while others think they may reflect counting or recording. If intentional, these markings predate other examples of abstract notation by hominins in the region, making them uniquely significant. Whether symbolic or incidental, the bone bridges subsistence and expression, from eating the aurochs to perhaps encoding thought upon it. It leaves open the question of whether its maker was simply restless or recording something that mattered. Number 5. The Baja Giants cave murals. In Mexico's Baja Peninsula, local legends speak of a race of ancient giants who painted the towering murals scattered across nearby caves. Scientists don't buy the giant theory, but they haven't offered a convincing alternative either. These murals depict human figures split into red and black halves, often pierced with arrows, and stretch more than 20 feet high. There's no logical explanation for how regular-sized humans could have painted so far above ground when ample lower wall space remained. The murals predate the arrival of the Cochimí people, and even they believe the artwork wasn't theirs. Carbon dating suggests some of the paintings are at least 7,500 years old. Despite the area being designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the artists remain unidentified. The mystery deepens when considering the murals' placement, symbolism, and scale. Without access to ladders or scaffolding, how were they made? Whether painted by giants or not, the origins of these huge ancient artworks remain entirely unexplained. Number 4. The solar disk of Sarmgatusa Reia. Little is certain about the so-called solar disk at Sarmgatusa Reia Fortress in Romania, and even naming it a disk reflects speculation more than fact. This puzzling monument is among the most mysterious of the Dacian fortresses in the Orishti Mountains. Estimated at 2,300 years old, the circular platform is cut from andesite, a volcanic stone not found locally, and divided into 10 defined segments. A long, arrow-shaped groove radiates from its center, leading many to assume it served an astronomical role. Yet no inscriptions or clear alignments support that conclusion. It could have been a sundial, or something entirely unrelated to timekeeping. Surrounding the disc are limestone walls, also built from stone transported from afar, adding to the enigma of its placement. Weathered but still imposing, the disc resists interpretation. Its design suggests purpose, but whether ritual, scientific, or symbolic, no certainty exists. Number 3. The Bronze Mask of Pan. In 2015, a rare bronze mask was unearthed at the site of Hippos Susita in Israel, unlike most ancient masks found in museums. It represents Pan, the Greek god of wilderness, revelry, and excess. While masks from antiquity are common, bronze was seldom used for large examples due to cost and practicality. The mask's location outside the boundaries of the ancient city suggests it may mark the remains of a rural sanctuary dedicated to Pan. Worship of the god often involved ecstatic rites, music, intoxication, nudity, and occasionally sacrifice, conducted beyond public view. The craftsmanship and scale distinguish this mask from smaller votive objects, raising questions about why bronze was chosen. Historians consider it unique, not just for its subject, but for the implications of hidden cult activity near Hippos during the Hellenistic and Roman periods. Number 2. The Liver of Piaenza. The Liver of Piaenza is one of the strangest relics of the ancient Etruscans, a people who once dominated much of Italy before assimilation into the Roman world erased their culture and language. Unearthed in 1877, the artifact dates back roughly 2,200 years and is shaped from bronze into the form of a sheep's liver. Its surface is covered with inscriptions dividing it into sections, believed to represent a celestial map. The Etruscans practiced haruspicy, divination using animal entrails, and the liver may have served as a teaching model for priests interpreting omens. Without knowledge of the Etruscan language, modern scholars can only guess at its exact function. For such a small object, measuring just 5 inches, its implications are vast. Number 1. Udagiri Caves. Near the city of Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh lies a group of 20 rock-cut chambers known as the Udagiri Caves. Believed to have been excavated during the early 5th century, these caves house some of the oldest surviving religious imagery in India. Even more significantly, this site is the only one in the entire country that can be definitively connected to a ruler from the Gupta Empire. Given its heritage, it's no surprise Udagiri is listed as a protected monument in India. Its most breathtaking element is an enormous relief of Vishnu in his Varaha incarnation. Still, many historians argue that the inscriptions from the Gupta period carved into the cave walls are just as vital. These inscriptions date back to the reigns of Chandragupta II and Kumaragupta I. Of the 20 caves, 19 are devoted to Hindu deities and cosmology, while the 20th is dedicated to Jainism, making it the site of the oldest known Jain inscription anywhere on Earth. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.